something so silly. Driving through the night must have set her nerves on edge. I'll call when I get to town and see if you've heard anything more. She disconnected the call and drove on into the dawn. Tall and imposing, the old house dominated the Texas landscape and loomed over the weathered barn and outbuildings. Chickens still scratched in the thin dirt, and the buildings were even more ramshackle than she remembered. The Chihuahuan desert wind moaned through the eaves of the old house, and the familiar sound made Shannon realize she was really home. Even though it wasn't much, it was theirs. Her work here was cut out for her. At least it was better than the trailer she'd lived in for so many years, and she'd hoped to show the town right off that she was a landowner now, not the quiet kid they'd been only too happy to ridicule. There was nothing to be gained by sitting here looking at it. She dropped her Jeep back into drive and accelerated toward the ranch.
This isn't it, is it, Mommy?
Kylie looked up from her coloring book and peered over the edge of the door out the window. A dilapidated windmill creaked painfully around its axis.
It's scary.
With her uncle gone, it wouldn't echo with his disapproval any longer. It just needs some work, sweetie. Uncle Earl lived here 50 years, and I don't think he painted a board. We'll get it shipshape in no time. Well, it would maybe take a while. It would be several weeks before she had any money coming in. She pointed to the side yard. Look, we have a barn. We'll get a pony, and you can have a dog. In fact, Moses might still be here. She whistled for the old stock dog. Here, Moses. Here, boy. Only the wind answered her. If Moses was still around, maybe he was roaming the desert. Every bone in her body ached from driving all night, and her nerves were shot after Mary Beth's mysterious call. She parked the vehicle in front of the hitching post by the porch, then sat listening to the groaning windmill. The sounds had echoed her own pain when her parents died.
Are we going to get out?
Kylie asked, fidgeting.
Sure, baby.
Shannon opened her door and moved around to unbuckle her daughter's car seat. Kylie hopped out and took her hand.
Do we have to go in? Maybe there's ghosts.
No ghosts. It's just a little dirty and run down, but I'll give it a good cleaning, Shannon promised. Our old apartment was way worse. Here you'll have your own room, and a playroom, too. She took Kylie's hand, and they stepped past straggly creosote bushes that scented the air. The porch steps sagged as though to swallow them whole. She and her daughter mounted the porch and approached the door. The key in her hand needed to be jiggled in the lock before the door would open. Stale air that stank of mouse droppings rushed to meet them. Kylie wrinkled her nose and pulled back on her mother's hand.
I don't want to go in. It smells nasty.
I'll soon have it smelling like pine sol and lemon, Shannon promised. But after letting her gaze sweep the foyer lit with dim morning light, her courage faltered. She was too exhausted to face the monumental task. They should have stopped for the night so it didn't seem so overwhelming. Kylie tugged on Shannon's hand.
Can I sit out here until it's better?
Shannon hesitated. Her gaze swept the barren landscape. There was nothing to see but the unbroken panorama of yucca and prickly pear cactus, and the crags and peaks of the hills until the desert met the Chisos Mountains in the distance. She'd once loved this devil's playground, even when it was as hot as his home, but today it felt lonely and dangerous. She rested her hand on the top of her daughter's hair, and the contact filled her with determination. I need your help, honey. She took her daughter's hand again and led her into the foyer. The flowered wallpaper was peeling and faded. A layer of grime dimmed the olive-green paint on the woodwork. Shannon sneezed at the odor of decay. She could see their footprints in the dust on the scarred wooden floors. It seemed the moment her uncle died 3 months ago, the desert stepped through the doors and windows to reclaim the house. She heard a squeak when they entered the kitchen, and a mouse ran for cover along the counter before disappearing from view.
Ew, a mouse, Kylie said. We're not staying here, are we, Mommy?
Shannon grabbed a broom from the corner and shook the cobwebs from it, but the rodent didn't reappear. You'll love it after I get it fixed up. I've got some mousetraps in the car. She stepped to the utility room on the other side of the kitchen and lit the propane gas water heater. It began to rumble and chatter. We'll leave our stuff in the car until we get it clean. The last thing she wanted to do was clean, but she had to have this place in better shape before she'd allow Kylie to sleep here. Nightfall wouldn't make its appearance for another 12 hours. Plenty of time to at least